Cool. Okay, looks like we're live. We might just hang around for another second or two, guys, before we have a few other attendees just filtering in this afternoon. I guess I can do a quick round of intros here. My name's Christian. You might have seen me before on a couple of these webinars. I'm on the OpenSolar side, and I think you can probably tell where these guys are from by their background. Here we've got the K2 logo. These are my friends from K2. We've got DePaul, Kyron, and David there joining us. So super excited to be running this webinar. It's all about the launch of our partnership with K2 Systems now being available on OpenSolar. So when you're selling K2 Systems, you'll get all the great benefits of having the exhibited content displayed on your proposals. And I'll run through all of that stuff shortly in a demonstration. The agenda for this afternoon, I'm going to pass it over to David shortly, who's the director at K2. He's going to give a quick background spiel on their company and hand it back to me, and I'll run through some stuff in OpenSolar, showing you how to design a system with the K2 products, and then I'll pass it over to DePaul and Kyron for some more practical info on K2 as well. So without further ado, I might just pass it over to you, David, although actually just before I do that, take note of the chat box there, guys. If you have any questions throughout, then just drop them in there and we'd be more than happy to answer them along the way. Okay, thanks, and over to you, David.
Excellent. Good afternoon, everyone, from around Australia and the rest of the world, wherever you may be joining us from. We welcome you to our K2 on OpenSolar webinar this afternoon. Thank you very much, Christian, for coordinating and supporting and also hosting the event for K2. Of course, K2's now open for business, up and running within Australia with a great selection of specialist rooftop mounting system solutions for the residential and the C&I market. I may just jump back for a second and give you a proper intro of myself, being David McCallum, the Managing Director for K2 for Australia in the Pacific region. I've been with K2 now for coming up to 18 months, preparing the company for its entry and product selection and production in support with my German colleagues and my staff locally here in Australia. K2 is a German-based company out of Renningen, out in Stuttgart in Germany. All of our products are predominantly made in Germany and Europe. 95% of the products actually are from that region. 5% of the product are then produced under K2's guidance and engineering instructions out of India, Mexico, and the US of A. And then we bring all those components together to deliver them for the local market for Australia in the Pacific. Those products cover the wide range from your traditional L-foot with an arch adapter for your corrugated or trim deck profiles, across to the Vario roof hook, which is uniquely different in its tail bracket assembly in comparison to competitors' products on the market. So I'm sure you'll find that interesting. I invite you all to jump on our webpage and have a look, or to reach out directly to me through the website, through the K2 website, that is, where you'll find all of our company local contact details. Through to the clip lock profile for your clip lock C&I roof profiles. And then we've got new and exciting products that haven't been widely seen in Australia or utilised, which namely is called the multi-rail product, which is a railless system for trim deck profiles. So again, you'll find more information about that on the website. Plus, there's a whole range of new and exciting products coming into the market through K2 that we'll be working on hard this year to introduce at a later stage. Obviously, K2 as a company, presents itself relying on engineering excellence in its product design. Our company motto, I should say, is certainly service orientated. Our products are really the solution and the end result for what we're trying to achieve with you in deploying more renewable energy products around the world. To which K2 is currently, sitting at in excess of about 16 gigawatt of product deployed on a global scale. But certainly service is our commitment to the market and to our clients. And that service comes in many forms, from, the personal business service that we'll provide to you, along with, our design service, through our solar designing platform known as K2 Base, which allows you then to, do your roof structuring design, apart from your quoting for your clients, but to do the roof structure and the mounting structure quote design, that'll give you then the design platform in a nice PDF format for yourself, for your installer, and for your customer, along with ensuring the design and the roof profile meets Australian standard requirements. And of course, we have our own in-house CEC designer and electrical engineer who can provide that online support over the phone or on site, depending on location, of course. So, we invite you to, contact K2, have a look at the website and reach out to us. But I hope that you find the information today in the webinar with K2 on OpenSolar informative, and we'll give you a good run through on the base platform as well, just to show you how simple that is to utilize in concert with the OpenSolar quoting solutions. You'll get your structural designing from the K2 base platform that we'll demonstrate for you today as well. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll pass back to Christian so we can push on and show you some important data. Thanks, Christian.
Cool. Thanks, David, for the background there. Yeah, let's get right into it. I can start presenting now. Just tell you a little bit about OpenSolar in case you're new to our platform as well. You should be able to see my screen. I'm just going to go full screen here. So just to get us started today, a quick overview on the OpenSolar toolkit. Two things. We are a world-leading design and proposal software, and we're completely free of charge, so you guys are free to grow. And free of charge thanks to our amazing partners like K2 today. We're a mission-driven company that's just trying to accelerate solar around the world, and our partners like K2 are helping us do that. We had a global launch in 2019 across 120 countries here, and we have an international team dedicated to support around the clock there. So based here in Australia, the United States, South America, and Europe. These two guys are our founders. You might know them from the industry. They're pretty well-known faces, certainly in Australia and the US. Anyway, they're the original pioneers of remote solar design and have experience selling tens of thousands of systems across the States. A couple benefits that you can achieve through using OpenSolar. You can save thousands of dollars a year in design, sales, and management costs because, of course, we're free. Increase your sales conversions, multiply your productivity, and within that, eliminate any redundancies in your existing processes as well, so you can free up your time. We're leading in design, accuracy, and speed, and this is something that we really pride ourselves on at OpenSolar. We're third-party validated by PVEL and NREL in the States. So they're the kind of governing solar bodies over there. And within that, we have automated and fully rendered 3D designs that calculate the pitch and azimuth and shading without you having to really lift a finger, just from all of the data that we provide you. Something installers love about OpenSolar is the proposals. They're dynamic, they're digital. Here's a few key points on them. You will get notified as soon as your customer opens up that quote, so you can kind of just go in and catch a sale while it's hot. You can offer them multiple options for their system. You can integrate finance as well in there in case they want to check out and apply for a loan to pay for it. You can incorporate e-signature, DocuSign, and things like that, and the ability to take payments through there as well. So a lot of amazing features within our proposals, and I'll be touching on that shortly. Lastly, just to sum us up, really, we're an end-to-end software for efficient operations. You can access OpenSolar on your desktop device or else on your tablet or mobile as well. So from the iOS, Google, and Android stores, you can get it there. You can run your business with confidence, of course, using OpenSolar because we're free. We respect your data. We are built for volume, and you have a dedicated global support team to help out along the way as well. So it's just a quick summary on who we are, but I'll jump into OpenSolar now itself and just give you a quick run through here. So you should be able to see my screen on this proposal that I've made. So we're in the app now. We're on this online proposal screen. I've designed 2 quick systems here, one with 15 panels, the other with 23. And you can see just down here in the hardware section, this is where K2 and our partnership comes into play. So if I zoom in here a little bit on K2, you're able to see you get these great, features that pop up, such as, videos, detailed brochures and spec sheets. You also get some nice information about the products that you're buying there with the K2 logo. So this is something the installers tell us a lot, is how much they like this exhibiting, component content on their proposals, because it just informs their customers a little bit more about what they're buying. And yeah, it just like looks and feels really nice on the proposal as well here. So, it's fully interactive. The customers love it and the installers love it as well. So that's one of the great benefits you get with K2. And I'll show you in a moment how to, design and everything, but just running through here quickly, you've also got, your system performance chart, how the system's operating. You can fully customize this. It's white label. So you can see putting in your own logo like I do there at the top, and putting in all of your own content like customer testimonials, whatever it might be, to just rebrand it and make it look as nice as you can. So we provide you with all these kind of standard graphs like the financial payback, bill savings and stuff, but it's also up to you guys to customize it further, beautify it a little bit with your own content like I've done there. So let's jump into this control section at the top of the app here. I'm just going to move swiftly through. The control areas where you can set up the K2 content at the beginning. So just hop in here to design and hardware, go into other components. This is the category that K2 lives within, and you can click on add from database. And then once you've done that, you can search here for K2, and you'll see, it just takes a second there to search, but you'll see some of the products that are available with K2 there, and the logos next to those products indicate that they are exhibited. So they come up with the videos and the spec sheets and all that nice looking content there as well. Great, so once you select one of these, for example, we can click on this guy. You can see a few more details about it there. You can also put in the cost of that unit if necessary, the labor cost of the unit and things like that as well. And then hitting save will just load it into your list of components. So saying I've already loaded that one in because I've already added it in here, but that's how you set up the K2 stuff at the beginning. And then if we take a step back to the beginning, you can go to this home page. This is where everything starts off in OpenSolar, putting in your customer's address within this area. This just uses Google to search for the address. So if I type in here one that I want to work with, and then just search, click from this drop down that I've got, I can then click on create project. And then once we've done that, I can put in my customer's details here. So, I'll just put in my name as a quick example, contact information and whatnot, put in my email address here, and then we'll go through to energy. This is where you put in their load profile, so how much they're consuming. And once you've done that, go through to design. And this is where you'll be putting in all of their panels and things like that as well. So I'm just going to do a quick and easy two-dimensional design, which is using a vertical image of the house. I will just click over here to add my panels in, choose the panels from this area, click on plus panels and just drag them out along the roof. So it's nice and simple to use like that. And then I can also put in a couple more panels, maybe put in about 15 there, and then add in your inverter here as well. So nice and easy. If you want to, you can add in the stringing too. That's up to you. And battery if that's necessary. And then of course the K2 comes within this others section. So these are those other components. If you click on plus component and then just select from the drop down list, type in K2, you'll see the products that you've got loaded into your active list there. So I think the one I was using was this guy here before for the clay tile roof. And that's it. So it's really easy to add in the K2 components there. Once you've done it, you can then configure the pricing and, you know, the payment options and stuff like that that you want to offer to your customer. You can also provide them multiple options for their system. So if I minimize this and then add a new system here, I might just duplicate the one I had already made and then add in a few easy panels over here as well. So we'll just go there, 23 panels. That's nice and easy. And that's it, you know, so pretty easy to just design, create multiple options like that for your customer. And then we can go straight through to the online proposal, which is where we started today. That's the quote for the customer. And you can see there, once again, two options here on the right-hand side and, you know, all of the hardware, the K2 content loaded in there as well, which is pretty nice. Great. So that's just a quick wrap of OpenSolar. If you have any questions, you can contact me, Christian@opensolar.com, and I'm ready to help out, help you guys get on board and everything. But that's it from my side. I'm going to pass over now to the K2 team. Hand it over to you, DePaul.
Hello, thanks. Thanks, Christine, for such a wonderful intro to OpenSolar and fantastic intro to K2 systems as well. Thanks, David. That's fantastic. My name is Dipal, electrical engineer and a CEC accredited designer. I'm working for K2 as a technical support from Sydney, and I'll be introducing K2 Base for you all. And before I can introduce K2 Base, I would like to give you an introduction on why mounting structure is actually important. The mounting structure is one of the most crucial parts of the installation, which is often overlooked. But you always must consider mounting is one of the things that is actually holding your modules on the roof. That means it's the one thing that ensures investments that you or your customers did will be there for the whole lifetime of the project. And thus, structural analysis needs to be project specific, just like string planning. And we all know this could be a tedious process. So we at K2 have simplified and automated all the planning process and put together a tool which we call K2 Base. Base is a design tool which enables project planning and designing in 5 simple and easy steps. I'm going to give you a quick overview of our planning software. It's a free planning tool. And it's been integrated with Google Maps location search. And you shall find a link in our chat box shortly if you'd like to register for it. And as I mentioned, it only takes 5 steps to generate a detailed structural verification report along with precise bill of material for quick ordering. The tool is user-friendly and has got great interface. Seamless mechanical design of PV installation is possible with easy drawing tools. And we reference ASNZS 1170 to automatically determine the wind and snow loads. And projects all over Australia, New Zealand, and some regions of Pacific Islands are designable in this software. The installer doesn't have to worry about the spacing tables or wind regions. The tool automatically takes care of everything. So the planning time is decreased, which enables the installer to perform more installs in short time. There's also an option for detailed assembly plan, which helps you to precisely install rails and fasteners, and export options like CAD and inverter design make project management less complex. I'm going to quickly show you how to access K2 Base from our website. And won't be long. Let me know if you see the screen. Yep, fantastic. You just search on your favorite toolbar, K2 Systems AU, and the first link should take you to our Australian website. Just bear with me for a second. And that's the webinar you're joining today. Thanks for joining, guys. And here you'll find the register now link for the K2 Base. Let's click on that. It should take you to a sign up page where you just fill in a few details and you will then receive an email with a link to confirm that your K2 account is active. Now let's just go to the K2 Base and see how it looks. So this is how K2 base looks, and that's your menu bar. And you'll also find some tutorials on the website, which will take you through how to access K2 base and what features it's got. But now, since we have our K2 base expert here with us, I would like to pass on to Kyron, and he can show you a quick demo on how you can use base for your next projects. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks to Paul. That was a great intro for the, and hopefully everyone knows how to get there. My name's Kyron Murphy. I'm working in the technical sales also with DePaul. So if you have any questions and you email them through, you'll probably be talking to myself or him. I'm just going to share my screen as well, and as DePaul said, give a little demonstration. I hope you guys can now see my screen, and it's not too large.
Yeah, that's perfect. We can see it all.
Can I get? That's perfect. Yeah. Okay. So when you sign into Base, or you get to Base on the first page, you'll probably be taken to this dashboard page. On the left-hand side, you'll see a menu bar, and if you haven't used it before, there's some great tutorials down here. So I encourage you to go there, and there's quite a bit of information on how to use Base, some of the tips and tricks. There's also a few places to start a new project or maybe import an old project. And then, as DePaul said, a bit of project management stuff here. So these are some of the projects I've worked on recently. But today, in this demonstration, we're going to go quite quickly through a project in fact, the same project that Christian just put together. So we're using the same tools that Google was using as well. So if we can just type in same address, and using Google Maps, we will just load the box. You see this big red square out the side, and all that's really important is that the roof you would like to plan is within this square. So this was the roof that was planned before. We also have now some options to say some information to add to the project. So we could say OpenSolar webinar, for example, and then just some other information in terms of I'm the author of this project, and maybe I would know the customer, Smith Constructions, or something along the lines of this, and then we can just move forward. You notice here we'll be jumping across from the project to the loads, and well, usually hopefully a little bit quicker than this, but we'll go to the loads page, and you'll notice the map of Australia. So this is the wind region zones in Australia, and this is all automatically loaded. So based on the address that we put in, the wind load zone is taken automatically. There is a few things that we have to put in because the software isn't really sure perhaps what the importance level is. So this is the consequence class. Another great feature is this little question mark bubbles. If you ever get a little bit stuck, you can just click on them and it'll tell you about it. So as we are in just a residential area, it's probably sort of 1 or 2. And you also have to pick the terrain category. So here we're sort of in the suburban area. You might notice actually this is, if you're really into your loads, actually this is the old standards. We're just currently in the process of updating it, as the standards have just been changed in the last month or so. Moving forward, now onto our roof part, we just have to select what type of roof we want. So even though this is a bit more of a hip roof, you could say, we're going to select a gable roof just because it's got 2 sides and it's a bit easier to plan this way. We have a tile roof, and we're able to change the name of the roof down here if we want, but to be honest, roof 1 is pretty easy. Clicking the add button, you'll see a small little your cursor change, and you can just click on the low edge of the roof, drawing a small rectangle, covering the section you'd like to draw the module. Some of this information you might know offhand, some of it you might just assume as part of the process of planning the design. I think from the OpenSolar estimation, I think we had a roof of 20 degrees. And we can just go through and put in some of the information that's necessary. for collecting all components for this design. So maybe this rafter spacing is also assumed, but I can make a comment of that later on. You'll notice now the roof has a little arrow on it. This is pointing down. It's really easy to figure out which way you're facing. And then we can move forward and we come back to the loads. This is now taking into account more than just the location. It's taking into account the failure class that we chose. It's taking into account the building height, the building's roof slope, and also the terrain category. So everything that we've put in has led us to a peak velocity on the roof of 0.76 kilonewtons. It's just for information, this page, but we can continue to click through. And we get to a little obstruction page. So this is really good for chimneys and stuff. So let's go back to that. Chimneys or maybe skylights. In this case, I can give you a little demonstration, just we don't want any solar panels in this area, as we obviously cannot place them there. We can then go through to our remark section. So as I said, perhaps the roof building height was assumed. We can write that in here. Or something, maybe you have some other comments that you would like to note. This is all then produced at the very end in our report, which I'll show later. But it just allows you that little bit extra information. From the report that Christian said, a producer, we had, I think, ING panels. So you're able to select from a huge database of, I think there's about 150,000 panels within our database. And what is quite, I think, funny is that the panels we have today are not in here.
That's okay, Karen. The ING panels are actually a dummy one that I just made on my OpenSolar account. So just go with any panel you like.
Well, it actually works really well because it shows off another great feature with the with base is that you can just put in your own dimensions. So if your panel is not in here, you're able to just add this information. So perhaps we have a maybe like a quite large panel. Maybe it's a bit heavier, and we can also put in the watt output as well. So it actually worked well. I thank you for putting that together, Christian. Moving forward, then we'll get to the system that we'd like to use. So for a tile roof in this area, we only have the one option. It's the single rail system with our single hook vario, which I'll go into a little bit later. Once you click that, it'll come down here, selecting everything that perhaps you want. Perhaps you want the portrait or landscape. For this system, there's no option for elevation, but that's for a different system, you can add that. We're able then to just draw another rectangle. It'll come up in blue, and the panels will sit within inside there. You'll notice here we have the option of, or not the option, but the panels won't sit quite on this edge here. So we have a few options of moving away from that. We can move the module panel down, and we also have an option to just remove one panel. So this is why I didn't put that obstacle in before. I just wanted to show off both features, and just whatever is easiest for you might determine like how you go about planning it. It's quite flexible. We can then move forward. In this case, we don't have to worry about inserting separation gaps because the module panels aren't that big. But if you're planning a residential roof, it can be quite important to put spacing in for thermal expansion or even for walkways, and you can use some of the tools in here for that. Moving forward, you'll notice we'll jump to the results page, and here we come to a roof that is split up into a couple of different things. So you'll notice we've flipped it around. We're now facing south, effectively, as in south is north. And this is just so you always know which way is down. So at the moment, we've just got down is at the bottom of the page, and this last results page will always be like that. But we have roof zones. So on the edge, we're in the blue zones, and you'll notice there that we have one fixation on every point. And in the middle roof zone, we'll notice that skips a rafter in most cases. So this is the minimum required fixing points based on our engineering standards. So you're always going to get the best value for money in this, and it's always going to be structurally sound. If, for example, you have quite quite fast spacing, you'll receive an error message up here that says there's a problem. It's not structurally sound, but for this project, we've got a little tick, so everything is in order, and that's great, and we can move forward. There's a few other points in here that are optional extras. The ones that are preset are recommended, so we can just leave them, and then we can continue forward, and we see a little bit of an overview of the number of modules and also the overall power output. We get to the summary page, and this pretty much has all the information for the project that you might that you need to know, or that you're just interested about. So if you have multiple roofs, they will all be listed here. You have a bill of materials that can be separated with these roofs if there are more, sales units, overall weight of the system. And here we have options that Paul was talking about in terms of what we can export. So probably the main thing we would be exporting would be a report. So here we have like a ballast plan that we can tick off and on. So this roof doesn't have any ballast, so we can kind of get rid of that. Perhaps we don't want the bill of materials, or perhaps we only need the bill of materials. So we can just go through and select some of the options and generate a little PDF. That'll just go straight to your downloads. And this can be used to add on to the PDF that is produced by OpenSolar, or perhaps you might need it for another reason in terms of warranty or giving to the customer towards the end of the project. Hopefully this will just open now into my window, which it does not appear to be doing. It's still downloading. So here we have the K2 base report, and this outlines all the information that we've put in effectively. So the project name, this is myself, and then some of the information about the building, location. Here are the remarks I made before, the standards which we've been built to, the wind speed. This is determined by the loading and the building height, as we discussed before. And then you get to the assembly plan, which I think Paul mentioned before. We can make it a little bit bigger. They have important information about rails. So perhaps you need to cut certain rails. Here you'll have all the exact measurements that you need. And if we scroll down a little bit further, you'll see a plan of the roof with the dimensions and the distances from the edge as well. We go a little bit further. There's a layout of where we're going to put the fasteners and the rails that we saw on a few pages earlier. We keep scrolling. We have the calculations that have been done in this. So based on the pressure that we input due to the location and the building height, all of this is calculated, from that information, and then determines the load on the modules, and then the loads transferred from the modules onto the roof as well. This information can be quite important especially for certain roofs, certain older roofs, where you want to know how much force is being placed onto the structure underneath. Here we have some design notes just in terms of what the codes have been built to, and some warranty. And if you scroll further, the full list of materials. If we jump back to the Outbase software, we also have the option to export as an XL. So if you're looking to purchase some of this material either from K2 directly or perhaps from distributor, you can download the XL document and just send it off really quickly and easily. All of the material will be in there. There's the end of what I was going to present from base. There are a few other points here, but there's a lot of this information covered in our tutorials, as I mentioned before. So I would just like to finish up by showing the single rail system. So we can just click on that through the base. It will take us to our website. And here you have a few options with the single rail system. So we're utilizing this with our L-foot, which I haven't planned today, but the process is pretty much the same. We just have to choose a different roof material, and then you have to put in the necessary components. We scroll down a little bit, you'll see the product we've used today, the single hook Vario. And what's really great about this, and what David mentioned that differentiates it from perhaps some of the other products on the market, is there's a bit of flexibility in terms of, maybe we can zoom in a little bit here as well. Underneath the plate, there's a long slotted hole on the roof hook, and that hole is also on the kicker, I guess you'd call it, or the nose of the hook as well. And this allows you to move the whole hook up or down a little bit, placing it above or below certain tiles. Perhaps you have really thick tiles in some projects or thin tiles in others. And you can position this roof hook in a range of positions. It makes it really useful for different tiles all over the country. And the option is also to do this up here as well. So I just wanted to finish on that. While I've just given the little demonstration, was there any questions that I could answer here that came up? Maybe Christian, you could answer that before I hand back to you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the presentation, Karen. That was really good. Seems like a super easy tool to use from the little demo that you just gave there, and it's so handy. It kind of just like matches up with OpenSolar in that regard as well. After you produce the proposal, seems pretty easy to get the base report from that as well. Yeah, well, we can hand it over for any questions now, guys. If there's anything you'd like to ask, just drop it in the chat box there. We'll be happy to answer those.
Yeah, and if I if I may, Krishna, I'll just acknowledge DePaul and Kyron. Thank you for those intros and the explanation and the demonstration on the base program. A question that has come up is around the base report, and I think it's important just to comment on as well, is that, as everyone's aware, as part of your CEC requirements for licensing and installing on both residential and commercial projects, of course, is the documentation requirement for the installer to maintain, along with what's presented to the end user. And, the base report actually fulfills all of the requirements as far as the certification of the mounting structure, the product that's been installed, the data material in regards to the roof hook, fixation points onto the rafters or the purlins, depending on the application. So the base report actually enables all of that data to be maintained in a single format for every install that the installer does, which is absolutely fantastic. And carrying on from that, something that, we at K2 with OpenSolar are working on at the moment is simplifying the journey that you'll all go on in preparing your quotes and your designing right through to the certification. And, we're working on the API aspects of how do we integrate the base platform with OpenSolar. So a lot of the material and the information that you key in to OpenSolar can be automated across into base. So you're not having to double handle and double entry everything. These things aren't going to occur overnight. This is going to take a fair bit of work on both our sides to get this together. But you would have seen from Kyron's presentation that the base platform, is fairly simplistic in its design, because the mathematical tables that sit behind it make it really easy for it to calculate the designing application for you. But we are looking to ways to even simplify that further and improve the service that you'll experience. So from that, we look forward to presenting that when it comes around later this year. Good. Back to you, Christian.
Awesome. Thanks, David. Yeah, I completely echo that. I think, the base program looks super easy to use today, but, with the API integration, just going to be a world easier again, I guess, just avoiding the double entry, kind of just streamlining the whole process. Really excited to see that and its developments. So thanks everyone for joining today. If there's any questions, just remember to drop them in that chat box. Otherwise, we might wrap it up pretty soon, and it has been recorded, so you will get that the replay video tomorrow of the session.
Excellent.
But yeah, thanks David, thanks Kyron, thanks to Paul for presenting. It's been awesome. I'm sure we'll do another webinar, in the coming months again.
Yeah, for sure. And let's work on a commercial roof, large scale, 100 kilowatt sort of system design, then we can showcase some more of the unique products from K2, such as the multi-rail product, just to show everyone how that simplifies the install, reduces the footprint of the aluminium that's used on the installation, and we look forward to bringing that to you very soon. Excellent. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye.